All right, here we are. This is a reflection on my time at Queen's University. So, a few weeks ago, I stepped on stage and I graduated. But I actually finished in December. I took an extra semester. And the reason why I took an extra semester is because, yeah, I'm kind of retarded. But, anyways, I started school in the fall of 2020 at Queen's. So, that's when COVID was happening, right? There was no crazy frost week activities. There was no grease pull. There was no getting yourself purple and doing all sorts of shenanigans because COVID was a hindrance to that. So that whole first semester was all online. I mean, the whole first year was all online. But my first semester, I was on residence. There was no packed lecture halls with kids hung over. There was no crazy busy, huge res parties because COVID. So I studied engineering, mechanical engineering. And my first year, first semester, my GPA was all the way up here. And then it dipped and never recovered. You know those stocks that like peak at IPO, they go up here and then they shoot down and never recover? That was the story for my GPA. But I still got the paper, I still got my degree. She does not always have to be pretty. And it doesn't matter if the ball goes top shelf or if the ball barely crosses the goal line. A goal is a goal. So, second semester of my first year, I go back home because I thought, you know what? I thought it'd be better. And in reality, it sucked because I was taking 7 engineering courses from my home, not having any intrinsic desires for engineering, watching my grades go down, and I'm also having no social life. One of the best things about residence was the ability to go to the dining hall and eat with your friends. There's something about eating with people opposed to just eating alone, scrolling on your phone. That's stupid. Actually, what that does is that interrupts your digestive system and actually irritates it. But that's a whole different story. But eating with people, your friends, at the res dining hall was something special. It was an amazing experience. And then my second year came around. So second year was 2021. Now, there was this narrative that COVID was going to come back because we finally, fucking A, my phone is all messed up. So second year, we finally get to have in-person classes. That university experience is finally somewhat upon us. But there's a twist to it. We have to wear masks. We have to social distance. And there's this narrative from the shadows that potentially there might be another COVID outbreak and we have to go back to online. And sure enough, in the middle of exam season, in December of 2021, I had already written a few in-person exams, COVID outbreaks. And Queens goes, we're throwing the kitchen sink at it. We're going back to online exams for the rest of the exam season. So it was back to Proctor Track Examity, that whole fun stuff. And then the first 2 months of the winter semester, 2022 winter, January, February, we're back to online school. And then in March and April, it was back to in-person with masks. And I lived alone for my second and my third year. And that is one of the biggest regrets. I would rather live with stupid degenerates than live alone. Because living alone, yes, it was a good experience, and I have pros and cons for each of living with people and living alone. But ultimately, I think living with people when you're 19 is awesome, especially in university. I think living alone, especially with the COVID lockdown, your emotions can get the best of you. The demons from inside can get the best of you. Anyways, so yeah, living alone was not the greatest in my opinion, and it's something I wouldn't do. So it's weird doing online school living alone, and you still don't know many people as well because a lot of people that went to Queens in my year, some of them also didn't go to residence at all. They studied their whole first year from home. So that was tough. So my first and second year were a little bit tough to A, socially adjust to, and B, seeing my grades demise even after putting in lots of hours and not getting the result I expect. But it doesn't matter. That's life. Sometimes you're going to throw in 100 hours and still get your ass kicked. I did learn, though, however, to persevere and show up on test day ready to kick ass. Even if I got my ass kicked, I'd be like, fuck you, motherfucker. I'm back. I'm back. And I'm going to get you. You know, that's how it was when it came to academics. Was it the greatest way? Obviously not. My GPA is indicative of that. But the good thing is, on my personal behalf, I persevered. So it doesn't matter. Now my third year comes around. I'm still living alone. I'm still living alone. But one night in the beginning, in September, my buddies and I were at Ale House out boozing around. And I see these guys sitting or leaning on the corner on the walls, doing nothing, but they work there. And I thought, damn, I could totally do that. And I need a job. So next week rolls by. I show up with my resume, hand it in, have an interview the next week, bam, and I get the job. And the rest, history, right? So that job was huge for my social life at Queens. It was amazing for that. I can still see my friends on weekends. I'm not boozing. I'm making money. And I'm still in the scene. I'm not spending money on $8 shots. I'm still there, 1 foot in, 1 foot out, sort of. I can still socialize amongst my friends and still, not have a hindrance to my social life. I could still make money and learn. I learned a lot from that job. Even though it was just a minuscule bar job in a college town, I still learned a lot of things. I learned how ruthless people can be when they're drunk. The truth comes out when people are drunk, and you see it. And I've seen it so many times over and over and over again. And one more thing, too, is that job gave me social proof. Now, what do I mean by this? Well, my TAs in some of my classes would see me working Tuesday, Friday, Saturday. And they noticed that because I had one TA who would teach a lab in my third year on Wednesday mornings at 8:30 a.m. And he knew that I was working the Tuesday night prior to the lab. So he would cut me slack. He wouldn't mark me late. If I came late an hour, he wouldn't care. He'd be like, yeah, you worked last night. Don't even worry about this. I also had TAs who gave me extensions on lab reports for other courses. I had TAs who saw me working all these nights, and they're like, you know what? Here's an extra week extension. I'll take it. Thank you. I'll take it. So it was one of the many benefits of that job. And I saw a lot of things. I saw the side of Queens that they don't show you in those brochures. I've seen people snorting blow off the toilet seat in ale at 1:07 a.m. I've seen those things. Actually, in my second year, there was girls shooting fucking heroin at a house party. Now, is that indicative of Queens as a whole? No, obviously not. Like, obviously, something like that is an outlier event, no doubt, right? But I've seen things that are crazy and make you shake your head. But the fact of the matter is, no matter where you go, the drugs, the alcohol, the degeneracy, that's always going to be there. That will always be there. And it's up to you to shut that down and mute it. Because that shit's always going to be there. And it's not coming from fucking guys in the bush. Like, hey, kid, you want to smoke some weed? No, it's your buddies. First it was weed, now it's cocaine, and now we're going to turn into a dystopia. I'm kidding. But, yeah, that happened. So third year, I was working ale and living alone. Okay, so my phone overheated the other day, so I'm back to finish this video off. So let's go with my fourth year. Let's continue on. So my fourth year, I moved into a house. There was a guy from my program, and he was nice enough to let me move in with him. He probably didn't expect me to be a crazy housemate, but maybe I was, maybe I wasn't. But I'm sure he didn't regret the choice of letting me move in with him. But anyways, fourth year was amazing. I moved in to a house, and the guys I met were awesome, and I made some lifelong friendships in that house. It was amazing. It was amazing. So fourth year, I took 7 courses my first semester, passed them all. Thank God, baby. And then my last semester, or it was supposed to be my last semester, the winter of 2024, I was supposed to take 7 courses again, but there was a 3 class overlap for one time slot. So unfortunately, I had to take an extra semester. So I took 5 courses in that winter 2024 semester. And then in the fall, I just took only 2, and it was 2 biomechanics classes. So it wasn't as hard as something like fluid mechanics 3. And yeah, it was great. Great for my social life. It was great to have breakfast at 8 a.m. with your friends and eat eggs and talk shit. I couldn't do that living alone. It was amazing. So 5th year was great too. It was just, two two courses. It was a part-time student, full-time marketplace and eBay lowballer. So believe it or not, even though how pale I am half Italian. Even though I look like a manja cake, So the day before I go off to Queens in 2020, the end of August, I'm saying goodbye to my nonna. And there's a new neighbor that moved in. And the new neighbor, we're chatting. We're just getting to know each other, small talk. He asks who I am. I'm her grandson. We get talking. I'm off to school. He goes, "Where do you go? Where are you going for school?" I told him I'm going to Queens for engineering. This guy went to Queens for mechanical engineering, and he graduated in the early 2000s. And I asked for one piece of advice, and he said, "Don't take mechanical, take civil." He said, the reason why is because A, it's easier, and B, there's more job offers. And the funny thing is, here in 2025, I think that same notion applies. I hate to say this, but I think I learned more outside the classroom than inside the classroom. Was it because I didn't have much intrinsic desire for mechanical engineering as a whole? Yeah, maybe that too plays a factor, definitely. But the thing is, in my industry with my job right now, most of the stuff that I learned in mechanical engineering is irrelevant. It's totally, totally irrelevant. So I have to kind of do my own due diligence plus learning from the job and then external learning to gain competence and really learn and grow in my industry within the company and provide value to them because they give me an offer. They give me an opportunity, and I want to provide them with value for giving me that certain opportunity, right? It's pretty obvious. And there's a lot of stuff that I have to do on my own to learn and gain some competence because I'm very, very, very green, and that's okay as long as I show up with a good, positive attitude and a growth mindset and a willingness to learn. So I'm actually taking a course right now online by this guy who's also a mechanical engineer who's been in the construction industry for 2 decades, and his name's Ryan Eisenhower, and I'm taking the course from him, and I'll actually just drop it if you guys want to take a look at it, and if you guys are ever considering going into construction management. If that's what turns your crank, then have a look at it. I'll drop the link for the course in the description. And another thing too is that I have an Instagram account called The Construction Rookie. It's very, very new, and it's pretty much just going to act as a training log and documenting my progress as I grow and go from rookie to amateur to vet one day, hopefully. We'll see as I climb the ranks, but I'm going to document that. Most degrees are bullshit. Find out where you want to be in life, and if school is a mandatory step to get there, then go to school. If it's not, then don't go to school. That's my opinion. Now, personal regrets. I personally believe I did not take enough risks. I played it safe. I should have gone on more adventures. I should have taken more risks, more shots on net. But it doesn't matter because that is behind me. It's behind me. This is a reflection, my personal reflection. But guess what? If and shoulda, coulda, woulda, it's over. It's over. The scoreboard is the scoreboard and it remains the same now because the clock ticked to 0. It's over. The game is done. The game is done. I should be an ASMR guy, right? Closing remarks here. Queens is what you make of it, not what your prof makes of it, your roommates, your canmates, your TAs, some hinge match from 2 semesters ago. No, it's what you make of it. So, listen, the drinking and the degeneracy, that'll always be there. It's always going to be there. And it's up to you to decide to shut the noise out or be an idiot and indulge in it. So it's what you make of it. And you got to make the most of it, okay? Make the most of it and make yourself proud and shut the noise out and don't be stupid, okay? That's all I have to say. God bless. Ciao.